Good evening and welcome to the May 7th, 2024 business meeting. Before we start our regular meeting at 7 p.m., we will enter into a budget hearing that is required by state law. But first, everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight we are joined by 4 of our board members, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Mr. Robert Haas, our Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, Mr. Louis Frontera, our District Clerk, Ms. Suzanne Benetti, our Legal Counsel, Mr. Edward McCarthy, and our, actually, that's it. Okay. Can I have a motion to enter into, special hearing? Can motion to enter into special hearing?
So moved.
Sandy, second. Adrian? Mr. Frontario? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Frontario?
Yes.
Ready for the budget presentation.
Thank you very much, and welcome one and all to the budget hearing for the 24-25 budget. And as mentioned a moment ago, this is really not a workshop. A workshop would imply that we're going to do some things and change some things. When you have a budget hearing, the heavy lifting's already been done over the past 8 workshops that we already had in terms of presentation and so forth, but we call it the budget workshop number 9 nonetheless. And tonight we're going to, as required by education law, have a budget hearing. I'm going to mention a little bit about the contingent budget requirements and a little bit about the ballot itself. I promise to cover all of these topics. And of course, we always have our district goals in mind whenever we make a presentation because it's what we live and die by. So here's our calendar. As you can see, we started back on December 12th, making presentations about the budget, each one building on the next, providing information, being as transparent as we possibly could in terms of the budgetary process to answer questions before they were even asked. And I believe that we have accomplished that goal. As you can see, the arrow is pointing to May 7th. That's tonight, and every school district in the state is going to have a budget hearing sometime between today and May 14th, statutory requirements. We definitely did a lot beforehand to get ready for this meeting, and I'm pleased to be here tonight to make that presentation. Of course, back on April 16th, which was our budget hearing number 8, we were finalizing the budget at that time, and it's important to note that the decisions made that night are reflected in the proposed budget that is going to be put to the voters on May 21st. One was we managed to get the budget increase down to 2.91 from 3.51 due to reductions in various areas. And the budget also is including some new pre-K classes, an elementary guidance counselor moved to full-time, drives education vehicle, robotics club, the high school, additional cybersecurity, beginning to replenish our one-to-one devices, maintains our class sizes, and all the things we know and love about the district, all current programs and services. The tax levy will be at the 3.91, which is the allowable tax levy limit, and with 24-25 state aid runs predictions, we're basically assuming no increase in state aid. This is a summary of the budget and functional areas. I have covered in painstaking detail every one of these functions over those past 8 workshops. So now you see it just in summary form by the various areas. And this is even greater summary by general support, instruction, pupil transportation, debt service, and employee benefits. As you can see, when you see the voter-approved budget for 23-24 of $83,453,366, the proposed budget for 24-25, which is going to be put before the voters, is $85,882,466, and includes, again, everything we know and love about the district, plus some enhancements and some economies as well. And here the budget increase is 2.91%. We cannot present the budget if we, on the expense side, if we weren't balanced on the revenue side. And as you can see, our tax levy is our greatest source of income, and will produce most of the increase in dollars that we need to run that budget, which again is within the tax levy cap, and then some additional revenues for interest income and those kinds of things. As you can see, state aid, we're holding zero because our foundation aid, as we already know, is not increasing at all, and we thought it was a safe number to just budget what we currently have. And obviously, appropriated fund balances and transfer reserves, we're trying to get those down, so we're not adding to that at all. But as you can see, overall, on the revenue side, we are in balance, which means we can bring this to our voters. This is the budget presented in three-part format. It's a requirement by law. They call it a plain language budget, if you will. It was created about 22 years ago. All school districts have to convert their budget to this at least once in the process. As you can see, we have administrative, program, instructional, and capital. Just by show of numbers, basically we spend about 92.7% on the instruction and the buildings in which that instruction takes place. And about 7% is only in administrative overhead, which really drives essentially what our programs are all about. So it's important to show it in that format because I think it really drives the point home about how much dollars we spend in direct instruction and, again, the buildings in which that instruction is going to take place. In terms of contingent budget, which, again, I need to mention at least once, if we were to face a contingent budget where our budget was voted down twice, we get one time on May 21st and one time in June, we would have to go to contingent budget. With a contingent budget, you cannot increase the tax levy $1, which means it would remain the same as it is now. We'd have to have a contingent budget cap, which I know how to calculate, and the board would have pretty much wide discretion about what ultimately is an ordinary contingent expense, which are the ones that we would be including in a contingent budget. The board would be able to make a decision, but we work very closely with the attorneys and so forth to ultimately come up with an ordinary contingent budget that would be acceptable to everyone. Most of the non-contingent items, things that we could do without, but we can make a case for having them as well. It's a capital construction, most of the equipment, certain student supplies, transportation services, salaries for non-bargaining unit employees, and extracurricular activities and sports programs. But again, the board would have the wide authority to determine that something is ordinary and contingent and would need to be funded in a contingent budget. And as I said, there's one revote if you needed to do that back in June. This is how it would look in terms of a cut. The adopted budget for 24-25, $85,882,466. We'd have to reduce budget by $1.8 million, and I show a couple of areas where I always did this. I needed to do this for the 6-day notice anyway to come up with a plan for how that would look, and basically taking out all of the capital projects, all of the equipment, various items throughout the budget, and the administrative cap requirement, ultimately cutting $1,837,259. On the revenue side, we would be looking again to only be able to increase our reserves, our miscellaneous revenue, by the amount to be in balance. Obviously, if we can find other sources of revenue, we can increase more. We can make the budget larger, but we just can't use tax levy to do it. So that's why that's a zero. In terms of the proposed budget, it's important to note that we still have our transfer to capital of $500,000 in the 24-25 budget, and it will be used for district-wide tile replacements. And we'll be doing them in larger numbers, because we can basically use all of these funds for that purpose. Here's a copy of the ballot. Proposition 1 will be the budget itself, which is $85,882,466, the proposed budget. And then there are 2 seats open, both currently running unopposed, but write-ins would be allowable. And May 21st is the date. The 24-25 budget vote and trustee election will be happening that day. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Fontario.
Thank you.
Does anybody in the community have any questions relating solely to this budget presentation or this budget hearing? Not hearing anything. How about the Board of Education? Any questions? Thank you. I want to commend you on a tremendous year, a lot of work. As you said, we had 8 different budget presentations, not to include this one. And I know you guys have been working for the last couple of weeks throughout the community, the different organizations. So very transparent. We've been very wide open about and available to everybody who had any questions about what's going into next year's budget. Thank you, Mr. Fatera.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to re-enter the business meeting?
Moved.
Ms. Kane,
Second.
Ms. Pignataro, second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Just a few announcements. I want to say there are 2 opportunities for community participation before the board takes up its agenda is the first time, and after disposition of all agenda items will be the second at the end of the meeting. Non-district residents will require a majority vote of the Board of Education if they wish to make a statement. Time allotted to each speaker would be 3 minutes if the community wants to come up and speak. All meetings will be live streamed and posted thereafter to the district website. And you can also follow us on social media through X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'd like now to turn it over for the superintendent's report for Dr. Harney.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We're just going to give a minute too, because I just asked Ally to, we have a number of students out in the hallway who I believe are going to be coming in to be recognized, so we're going to grab them too. But I will do my report. So first of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Benetti and Mr. Johnson for the senior citizen dinner that we had last week. It was a tremendous event. We had over 150 of our community members. I must compliment all the work that Ms. Benetti had done this on a day-to-day. So thank you for everything you did. And Mr. Johnson as well for all your assistance in helping out Mrs. Benetti. But as I said, she really handled the day-to-day phone calls and everything, and she kept her busy. So thank you to her. But also within that, our buildings and grounds, our staff, our food service group, and I know if I start naming them, I'm going to miss somebody, so I really do not want to do that. But it was tremendous. But probably one of the best parts is the number of students that were there as well. We had a number of students who assisted our senior citizens, whether it be through helping them, get from their car to the inside, or helping them get a plate of food, or dancing with them, or whatever it may be. It was a tremendous event, and it really, really was nice to see. It's one of those times that I'm often very, very proud of our district, but that was a very special night. So thank you to everybody that made that such a special night. On a side note, as you know, we have a number of concerts that have been going on. We've had the 3 elementaries had gone over the last week or so. And then coming up in the next couple of weeks, we'll have the middle school and high school. If you are interested, everything is on the calendar. As I said, almost every day or a few times a week, you'll be able to find one. And then at the end of the month, then we also have the middle school musical as well. So just keep those on your calendar. On May 18th, we have the Fine Arts Art Show. That will be here as well. That's here in the high school. They also do a tremendous job, so hopefully you can get here on the 18th. And as Mr. Fronteri alluded to, we have the budget vote on the 21st. It'll be held in the back gymnasium. So that's, if you're looking for parking, we'll have spots available for you there. We open up at 7 a.m. and it goes to 9 p.m. No homework night on May 21st. And then just kind of, I know there might have been some confusion a little bit, but we had used one of our snow days of the 2 snow days. So school is closed on Friday the 24th, obviously on Memorial Day as well, which is the 27th. And the schools are back open then on the 28th, which would have been that second snow day, which we did use a snow day. So that day has now become a day of school. With that, I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Johnson.
I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Velachos for the student report.
Thank you. At Blue Point, they had a great spring concert last week. Congratulations to Miss Ayes, Mr. Scudder, and Mr. Smith on their success. Thank you to Lisa Scala, who came to Blue Point to teach the 5th graders sign language for Rock Your Socks for Hearing Impairments Day. At Academy Street, kindergarten had the Cornell Cooperative come to visit and they brought discovery tanks, and the students were able to learn about all living things in our local waters. Also at Academy Street, our spring concert was wonderful, and the chorus, band, and orchestra did an outstanding job. Thank you to Miss Carton, Mrs. Mazzaferro, and Mr. Mazzaferro, and also Mr. Weber for making the concert a success. Additionally, 4th grade went to Old Bethpage and had a great field trip. The 1st grade is having an in-school field trip with marine reptiles, and 3rd grade will be heading to the Suffolk County Farm for their field trip. Our town hall meeting this Friday will be an assembly presented by AAA on bike safety. And finally, for Academy, we would like to give a shout out to all our teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week and all our school nurses. At the high school, Mr. Walcott, the new principal, will be visiting every now and then so that he can meet the students and staff members. We have more success stories with our athletic teams, and we are heading into playoffs. Please come and support the Phantoms. Our talented students will be performing in several end-of-the-year concerts. They will also serve as fundraisers, so please attend them if your schedule permits. There are many great events for our seniors taking place this year in the near future as they approach graduation. We wish them the best, and there are extra help review sessions after school as we prepare for finals and regencies. And it's also AP exam week this week and next week. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. I also want to thank you for being one of our many student volunteers last week at the Senior Citizens Dinner to help us out. So thank you very much for that as well. Turn it over now to you, Dr. Harney, for my favorite part of any board meeting, the student recognition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. Also, I'd like to just also congratulate Allie, who is committed to Berkeley. So she'll be going there in the fall. So
Thank you.
great things ahead for her, I am sure. So congratulations. So tonight we have a couple of recognitions that Mr. Haas is going to share with us. So we have our high school debate team, which is a relatively newer club for us, and they had some tremendous success. And then we also have our Robo Phantoms in the back there as well. We're looking to recognize who are going to be heading off to another competition within the next couple of weeks. It was tremendous. I got to see them in Hicksville, and I actually got to learn a lot from them. So thank you for that opportunity. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Haas.
Thank you, Dr. Harney. It's always a pleasure for me to stand up here and get to be the one who gets to announce the students for student recognitions. So we have a couple tonight, as Dr. Harney said. First, we are going to start with two of our members of the high school debate team. These students have, if you get to know them, you know that debating with them is not something that you ever want to do. They are two students that put in a tremendous amount of work. The amount of time that goes behind the scenes for them in terms of preparing and studying to get ready for this. For these debates is tremendous. And I first want to thank, they're not able to be here tonight, I do want to thank their two advisors or coaches, Mr. Sean Mead and Mr. John Liberatos, for all the time that they put in to help them and assist them throughout it. But recently, our debate team, two of our members of the debate team recently competed in the New York Forensic League State Championships at the Bronx School of Science. After posting, I believe, a 3-2 record on the first day, they made it back. That was on a Saturday. They made it back on Sunday for Elimination Day, where I believe they were 2-0 to start the day and wound up finishing in the quarterfinals, finishing 6th overall. They were the #1 team from Suffolk County at that, and #2 out of all Long Island schools. So a tremendous accomplishment for everything that they did. Very proud of them, and I know that they can use the skills that they have learned through the debate team that are going to serve them well in the future. So I'd like to call up our two members of the high school debate team, George Rogers and Uraj Chor.
Yes, it's only grown-ups today. I know she'll crop it back.
So for the middle school robotics team, we're going to change up how we typically do student recognition just because I saw all the stuff that you guys walked in with. So I am going to ask all of the members of the, led by your two coaches and the members of the robotics team to come on down, and we're actually going to bring those signs up so we can put them up on the board, so on the stage, so everyone can see them. So it's going to take a minute or two just to get them set up. Yeah, put those two right there. Yeah, you might want to move Dr. Harney. So put those signs on that side. And then the rest of you come in front. Let's get 2 rows.
And we might even need a third to take a name.
I was gonna, yeah, I don't want if somebody fell, it'd be on me. And get them to stand on that top row.
No, what they're doing is perfect. Take a knee in front. What they're doing.
So give me some of you take a knee in front. So we're going to do the picture first this time. All right, so now that we got the photos out of the way first, we are going to move on to the recognition part of it. So before I call up, because I am actually going to turn it over to the two coaches, Mr. DeSantis and Ms. Hanky Brinkman, and they're going to go through and really go through everything that you guys have accomplished so far and what we know is upcoming for you, and talk a little bit about the season. But I do want to thank both of them for everything. Again, just like with our debate coaches, the amount of time and effort that they have put in to this program and really getting it going over the past 2 years, which has really led us to, within our budget for next year, as we are bringing robotics to the high school level as well. So they have set the foundation. These two, along with all of your hard work, have set the foundation for years to come for a robotics program here in Bayport Blue Point. So I know you guys have completed in the Long Island Regionals, and they're going to go talk a little bit about it. But on behalf of the district, we want to wish you guys well. That'll be competing at the American Robotics Invitational in a couple of weeks. So we wish you best of luck, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. DeSantis, Ms. Hanky Brinkman, to talk a little bit about the season and call you guys up for your certificates.
We're going to let them sit up there uncomfortably and nervously as we talk about them. So this season, we had 2 teams that found quite a bit of success. We have Team 9556, so raise your hand, 9556. That's your white jersey team, and Team 56530, raise your hand. So in front of you, you have 2 top 10 ranked teams from the first LEGO League Long Island region out of 161 teams. Team 9556 ranks number 5. And Team 565230 ranks number 8, which is a huge accomplishment for both of these teams. Those accomplishments really pale in comparison to the amount of community outreach this team has done, or both these teams have done. Collectively, they raised over $1,000 of funds that were used to purchase 3 gifts for 24 students in an underprivileged school in the Bronx, completing a wish list that they put together. They also did a beach cleanup at Blue Point Beach after one of the winter storms that we had. They did a sweatshirt drive where they collected over 200 sweatshirts that were donated to the Long Island Lighthouse mission. They've also did so much, it's like hard to remember all the things that they've done. It's absolutely an incredible group of individuals, and all these ideas and these events were all things that were done by them. That's the most important thing to kind of keep in mind as they journey from this stage to whether it be next season as a RoboPhantom or a Brainstormer, or what their journey takes them as they transition to the high school.
So not only were they amazing at impacting our community, but they're also incredible innovators. The posters that you see up there show the progress that they made this year alone with coming up with an innovative solution to a problem that was just posed to them in September. They had to go out. This year's theme was masterpiece, and it had to do with the arts, with hobbies, with music, with anything of that nature. They went on a field trip into the village of Patchogue, where they visited Patchogue Theater. They also visited Mocha Long Island, which is a beautiful museum in Patchogue. They met with the curator, and they met with the executive director and production managers of the theater and the museum. And they questioned them, and they became their mentors and experts in identifying problems that they could solve. Team 56530 came up with an incredible app that they created from scratch called Curator in a Box. And what it does is it assists a curator in cataloging the immense amount of artwork that would come in for a show. The curator of Mocha Long Island is so excited to implement it in his museum. So this group of children, students, amazing human beings, have come up with an innovative solution for an adult problem. 9556 went with the theater, where they identified by visiting the theater and being able to climb all over the back of the stage and the steps and talk to the production manager, they discovered that there was a pit tube challenge, the pit tube, where the pit tube, they actually used a skateboard and a rope to run all of the important cables for all of the shows through that pit tube, which is over, how many feet long, my friends? How long is that actually? 2 school buses, yeah. So they are absolutely incredible. They came up with an innovative solution to that as well that the theater will also be implementing. If you would like to speak with any of our incredible innovators, their boards will be available, and we'd love to have you talk to them. They're absolutely incredible. We are so, so very proud of each and every one of them.
All right, so with that being said, we'd like to provide recognition to all these individuals. Before we even start doing this, there are 2 people up there that also deserve a little extra credit for all the time that they dedicated. We have 2 9th grade students who came back as members of the team last year who went to Arkansas to compete at the Razorback Invitational, who chose to be mentors for this young group of amazing people. So I'd like to recognize first, just give a quick wave, to Alex Kaler, who was an amazing mentor to 56530. And Adil Shah, who is the mentor of the team 9556. So when I say your name, come on down. You guys can stand up because my knees hurt looking at you. So I say your name, come on down. You're going to grab yourself a certificate. So Joseph Abadi, who's not here this evening. Yeah. You guys can come down and kind of start coming this way. Jace Black. Okay. Nathaniel Bolger. Colin Buckley. Lillian Capozzi. Juliette Carbone. Avery Carney. Juliana Cirillo. Jake Cooney. Jake from State Farm. Cameron Kudak. Angelina Festa. Finnegan Hasher. Connor Hawks. Landon Hedstrom. Charlotte Johnson. Alex Kaler. Carson Connie. Roman Kruger. Ray LaBarca. Grady Larson. Quinn Lugo. Benjamin McGinnis. Finn McGinnis. Malcolm Merced. Nicholas Morrow. Kyle Olesiak. John V. Patel. Jane Raymond. Adil Shah. Azan Shah. Eric Swinkin. Harrison Trezopoulos. Grady Thompson. Quinn Watson. And Julie Wellams.
Well, congratulations thus far, and best of luck in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much.
We like the background better, so if you want to come take another picture, come on up. Again, congratulations and good luck.
How about another round of applause for the Throwable Phantoms? I also want to say great job to Mr. DeSantis and Ms. Henke Brinkman. Very good job, 2 years in a row. Thank you. If anybody else was here for the student recognition and wants to go out in the hallway and look at some of the poster boards or leave off and celebrate with their families, they're more than welcome. And you're also welcome to stick around for the conclusion of the meeting as well. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to move from the consent agenda to the regular agenda? Nothing? Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items I, J, K, L, and M? Motion, Ms. Connie, second, Ms. Picatero. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to the regular agenda. Do I have a motion to abolish policy 5460R, child abuse, maltreatment, or neglect outside the educational setting, which is now incorporated into policy 5460 with the same name? Mrs. Connie, seconded by Mrs. Simone. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to waive the second reading to abolish policy 5460R, child abuse, maltreatment, or neglect outside the educational setting? Motion, Ms. Simone, second, Ms. Connie. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Can I have a motion to accept a generous iPad 9th generation valued at $300 from Miss Angela O'Leary to the Sylvan Avenue Elementary School nurse's office? Ms. Pintero, second. Ms. Connie, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? None. Motion carries. And I just want to thank Ms. O'Leary for that donation. Going on to another donation, a generous cash donation from the Bayport Blue Point Special Education Parent Teachers Association for the $125 for a grant. I believe the grant is for to study butterflies that and how they interact within the ecosystem. Ms. Cerrone, seconded by Ms. Connie. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? None? Motion carries. I do want to thank SEPTA for their donation of $120. Thank you very much. Okay, this is our final chance for the night for any community members to come up to discuss any new business. Not hearing any. Trustee new business. Ms. Connie?
I just wanted to wish all of our students taking advanced placement tests this week and next best of luck on those. And I wanted to congratulate our students who performed in Cinderella on their Teenie Award nominations, including Allie Vlachos at the end there, who was nominated for Director's Choice. So congratulations and have fun at the awards. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically the high school version of the Tonys at the town of Islip. So congrats.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to request a motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. Krug, Ms. Pignataro, all in favor? Thank you and have a good night.